My name is Jarno Habicht. I'm the WHO representative in Ukraine, and I have a pleasure to facilitate the last session. And the longer we discuss on important topics, a little bit later will be the dinner. But we know that we need to be in the dinner at 7 o'clock. So there have been many discussions today about health, human capital, but on various topics we have heard since the morning. But one thing we know that the reforms that the health sector started to do since 2016, these reforms on the e-health, as well on health financing, primary care, hospitals, have contributed to the resilience that Ukraine has had. And also it has allowed to ensure that there is a scale-up of services being on mental health, rehabilitation, that we are hearing today. And we know that the modern, inclusive, and resilient health system is something that allows Ukraine to respond to the war, but also to support the people and also contributes to the recovery, which is very much human-centered. Today's discussion, we will focus now on mental health, rehabilitation, and the digital solutions and e-health, while of course there are more topics that the participants will bring up. And while we have many speakers, then my introduction will be short. And I would like to ask to the podium Olena Zelenska, Your Excellency, to give us your vision as you have been leading the humanitarian response. You have been investing a lot of your time to the topics related to mental health, rehabilitation, nutrition, inclusion. Please.
Доброго дня. Рада особисто долучитися до
I'm delighted to be able to attend this conference, the Ukraine Recovery Conference, in person today. This panel discussion is dedicated to the reconstruction of what is most precious for us. That is our people, human capital. The slogan of our program for mental health, and I will go into more detail later, our slogan is as follows: renewing people, and people are renewing everything. This approach is something that we use in other areas as well. The people are at the heart of what we do, at the heart of any process, and everything is centered around the human people. We are grateful to all our partners who support us in protecting human lives. Jarno Habicht just spoke. He is head of the WHO office in Ukraine, and I would like to use this opportunity to thank him. Thank WHO for their work. They've been helping us from day one, and I would like to speak about the important decision taken at the 77th meeting of this organization, a resolution regarding mental health in wartime and time of disaster. This initiative goes back to us and the Netherlands that we launched together. I am sure that this is not only about Ukraine, it is an important initiative for many other countries as well. I would like to tell everyone that the help we receive is vital. And it is also important for the security of the world. When you help Ukraine, you are doing it on the basis of humanitarian principles. And I would like to thank everyone who chose this path of humanity. There is also a pragmatic dimension to it. Together, we are building a fair and a safer world. We are building a civilization despite the chaos and the destruction we see. In the first days and months of the war of aggression, we have received tremendous support from many countries, and it is important for us to say that all of this has been so important and that we act in a spirit of responsibility regarding your help. It is much appreciated. Every country who helped us build up our hospitals according to the principle of building back better. In the wake of attacks, 160 medical centers have been destroyed. 1,600 have been attacked and damaged. But 500 could be re-established. Thanks to your support, we are building a strong system of rehabilitation and support for thousands of Ukrainians. They are receiving this support for free. 250,000 patients will need rehabilitation measures every year. People who have been traumatized by a war or have suffered strokes. Already now, we are working on a network of 220 hospitals or hospital wards engaged in rehabilitation. So this will be the biggest rehabilitation network in Europe. In these 2 years, since the beginning of the war, of the attack, our Ministry of Health, the EU Commission, and the WHO and 30 countries have united to make evacuation possible. 5,000 children and adults, people suffering from cancer also have been receiving support. Germany played an important role. 1,239 people were able to receive care in Germany. And I was able to meet some of our military veterans today who are receiving treatment in Germany and or are receiving rehabilitation programs. A new model of cooperation in medical cooperation was decided at the summit in Kiev of First Ladies and First Gentlemen in Kiev last year. Leading hospitals from 18 countries have become partners of Ukrainian hospitals. There are 44 contracts about cooperation and exchange, and about 50 surgeries, facial surgeries have been conducted. French and Ukrainian doctors have worked together on these surgeries. Some of them were revolutionary, truly revolutionary. It is very difficult to defend ourselves, but we are also we are moving on with our reform of school meals. Only half of the schools are still operational, and the precondition for that is having a shelter for the children. So schools become safe places and places of calm that is difficult to find in Ukraine, unfortunately. So, good food, good nutrition for children. School meals have been part of our response in order to strengthen resilience. Our energy system has suffered from tremendous damage, so families don't have electricity at home, but the school is the only place where a child can eat a hot meal. So reforms have already started before the war, but it is ongoing. We have changed the laws. There are now kitchens in schools cooking new meals. With the help of our partners, we are also renovating, refurbishing kitchens in schools, and we have a first big kitchen catering for 1,000 children a day. But there is still a long way to go. And I would like to address 2 topics here. Free meals in schools for children is one of them. Vulnerable children, small children, first graders. And I would like to thank the institutions involved. The second one is that we are refurbishing kitchens and cafeterias so that we can offer good quality food, which requires the necessary funding, of course. I am delighted that already today the results of our work becomes visible. You can see the food that Ukrainian children are receiving. Our school nutrition reform has been carried out. Mr. Petrenko, and head of the reform team, offers people to try meals that children eat at school. There is a support program, a health support program for pupils. Many Ukrainians suffer from permanent stress. And as a response, we have established a program for mental health in Ukraine. Services in the field of mental health that are easily accessible and of high quality, addressing people who need help. There is a coordination hub at the cabinet, which is where the programs are designed and then handed over to municipalities. There is the state sector and the non-state sector. A big issue is, of course, training experts and support in the field of mental health work. Everybody is joining this effort. General physicians, teachers, rescue staff. There are schools, there are workshops for thousands of people. Many people have been engaged in this program, and we are waiting for new partners to join. In the beginning, I thank the World Health Organization for the resolution about mental health, and I am sure that the Ukrainian experience in the field of mental health will be our big contribution. Right now, Ukraine is undergoing this experience and is paying a high price for it. We're ready to share our experience so nobody else has to go through this. We are resilient, and we inspire others with our resilience. Once this horrible war will end, we hope we will be able to say that this is our joint result. Please engage in our reconstruction, our development, and help us with our resilience in Ukraine. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your help.
Thank you, Olena. And with this one, I would like to bring other speakers also in the round table. So I would like to invite Viktor Leshko here also, who has been leading the country through the COVID response, through the war, being minister more than the 3 years, and a good friend, as we have been working many years together, but also a great public health expert. Also, I would like to invite here Karl Lauterbach, who has similar characters, being professor in public health, in health economics, but also great contributor to the global health as well. Here, in addition, I would like to invite Carlo Montelli, who is the governor of the Council of Europe Development Bank, and in his role since 2021. And also, I like to invite Karin Steinecke here, who is from the Charité Clinic, but leading international networks looking to the telemedicine, and also being one of the person connecting to Ukraine. But before we go to the panel discussion, and there are a few questions to the panelists, we discussed with Viktor that he likes to bring addition what Olena Zelenska shared about mental health, rehabilitation, and give a vision also where the health sector is moving forward and what is the latest situation to inform the dialogue. So Viktor, over to you.
Здоров'я – це ще не все.
Health isn't everything.
But without health, everything is nothing. In your country, when your country is attacked with missiles, and if terrorist attacks hit your country without anyone having provoked them, that is difficult. I've been in my position for more than 3 years, and for 2.5 years I was the minister during the large-scale invasion. I am able to say that no health system by its own can actually deal with such challenges. Let me start by saying thank you. Thank you to all our partners. They have stood with us, and they are standing with us, supporting our doctors since day one. I would like to say thank you for the Medevac program, for each and every Ukrainian, injured Ukrainian that has been evacuated and taken in here, which you are treating just like your own citizens. Thank you for being actively involved in the International Medical Association, the Lady and Gentlemen Summit initiated by Olena Zelenska. We were part of that. More than 6,000 objects, health facilities have been destroyed in Ukraine, and the funds needed to restore these facilities is higher than $17 billion. Now, discussing how long it will take to restore that, then we're a bit at loss, unfortunately. There were cases, we've never seen such cases of violation of the Geneva Convention. Russia is actively attacking energy facilities. Now, tell me, who wants to be taken to hospital without the hospital and the clinic being supplied with water or energy? It is such conditions under which the medical system has to work in Ukraine. The Russian terrorists are forcing us to do that. How do we respond to such circumstances? Well, we have not stopped our reform. We are continuing with the reforms, and we have achievements to show. You need a minimum amount of hospitals that are supplied with water, energy, and heating, and have shelters to provide health services. Now, for 3 years, we are under massive attack, and our health system is suffering. Is it right to do something today that is not directly linked to defense activities? Now, I'll say something that Olaf Scholz said during the plenary, the opening plenary. The best reconstruction is not reconstruction, but prevention. Prevention is better than treatment. Now, let me say thank you for initiating the mental health initiative. Thank you to Olena Zelenska. We need to deal with the consequences of the war. No health or social system alone will be able to provide the number of artificial limbs that are needed. The demand is increasing. Tens of thousands of artificial limbs are needed. And we need skilled workers who are able to produce prostheses. And I would like to say thank you to each and every one contributing and supporting Ukraine to increase the rehabilitation measures that are provided. We had 2,000 at the beginning of the war. Now we have 10 rehabilitation centers and cases of rehabilitation per day. We help people to get back on their legs. But what should we do? Well, I would like to urge you to provide support wherever you can. If you support other initiatives, I say thank you. We need to discuss ways of reducing the negative impact on the health sector. Well, there's one thing we're doing. We're working on school meals, more nutritious school meals. We're reducing the quantity of salt in bakery products. Health is not everything, but without health, nothing else is worth anything. Thank you very much.
So sharing where are the current needs, because there are challenges with energy, but there are many other aspects around. So thank you also for looking forward, not only looking to the response, but thinking about the next generations, their nutrition, and many other aspects. Before going to other panelists, and just to follow up of your presentation also, Victor, how you see why health is such a important factor. Is it important factor from your side, and how important it is for the recovery and reconstruction? Because sometimes we talk more about the buildings, but then also we talk about health of people, health workforce. So in a 1 minute, how important health is in the future recovery?
По-перше, знову розпочну.
Well, after saying thank you, I said that 2 months ago we had a conference in Berlin on mental health. And we had this as a topic. You can't talk about infrastructure without looking at the human capital as well. Our slogan is helping people, renewing, rehabilitating people. Now, if we talk about health, we need to understand that infrastructure is needed for the people. We need to safeguard people's health so that they can use the infrastructure. We need to be victorious in this war. And yet we cannot forget that health now is important. We can discuss. I can give you figures, the increase in cardiovascular diseases. We carried out studies in past years. There are more seizures in a country that's at war and more heart attacks than if you don't have a war. So people are 10 years younger when they are affected by these conditions. So if we don't talk about health, then at some time we will realize that things are difficult. Health is important, and I will keep health on the table as an important issue. Thank you very much.
Elements. I would like to turn now to Karl, and the Germans, you have gathered all of us here on Ukraine Recovery Conference and rallying for international support. How you see the international support and solidarity to support health sector in Ukraine and the health overall, and where also Germany can support further as the time goes on?
First of all, thank you for this opportunity. It works, okay. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. Let me first point out that having been to the Ukraine and having been in touch with my friend Victor for so long, I'm really impressed by what the Ukrainian population is able to show here. The resilience in the population is astonishing and really impressive, and also the quality of the medical work, including doctors and nurses, is at the highest possible level. So I'm very impressed by what the country is doing, and I'm also impressed by your work, because you look at health as a as an entity, not only, let's say, soldiers or civilians being wounded, but also the health of the population more broadly, mental health, but also, let's say, cardiovascular health. All aspects of health are covered. So that is very impressive work. I think in the health community there is very strong support for the Ukraine, because there is no other field in which you can see the senselessness and brutality of Putin's war in such a clear light. So therefore I think the international health community is really entirely on your side. And we will use this recovery conference in order to collect as much support financially but also morally for your country as we can. And I'm also very pleased that First Lady Zelenska today visited the soldiers again at the hospital, Bundeswehr hospital, our military hospital. That was also very impressive work. We will go through this together. And we will not only collect money, but we will also collect the moral support that your country so badly needs.
Thank you, Carl, and very important aspects, how there is a support from the countries, but also the moral support, the financial support, but also among the professionals. And you had a very strong statement also, I remember, in last year when we met in the First Ladies and Gentlemen's meeting, and there were a number of ministers, but also a number of professionals there. But let me turn now to Karin, how you see particularly these partnerships between the professionals, how you see, what role you see for innovation, and what we can learn from the past to help Ukraine, even and the health sector in particular, to recover faster.
Thank you very much for this very interesting questions, and for giving me a chance to give you a little insight, a hands-on insight on what BG Kliniken and Charité are doing in our programs on mental health, rehabilitation and telemedicine. So what are our experts doing? So of course they support, they foster multi-professional, interdisciplinary collaboration, which is essential, I think, in holistic recovery. And they bring together with Ukrainian colleagues, they bring together experts from different fields, and they all together create and develop integral solutions that not only meet immediate needs, but also long-term needs. Of course, they support capacity building through mentorship and through teaching and education. They offer exchange of knowledge, offer exchange of experience, and they support developing and maintaining local workforce. They try to offer evidence-based guidance to help to support quality assurance. And of course, one essential thing, and this is the thing I think why we are all here, they foster and establish, maintain, and are part of cross-border international collaborations. And with this, we have the chance to bring more experience, more exchange, more knowledge transfer, not only from Germany and from our hospitals, but also from other hospitals worldwide to Ukraine. And this, together with Ukrainian colleagues, it's a tremendous effort for facing this crisis.
Thank you. And I think you raised very important aspects of knowledge transfer, and I think what I have seen in the clinical practice and in public health, knowledge transfer is always two ways. So I think that's also what others are learning from Ukraine, while there are many around this room, but beyond also those who are following us in the internet who are supporting Ukraine. Let me come back to the macro level, and Carlo was mentioning also rallying for financial support. And Carlo, you are one who have also decided to support more financially Ukraine health sector, its recovery, making services available now. how this type of decisions are born and how you see the trust in the health system from your point of view.
Okay, now this morning, Minister Liasco and I signed the first loan of the Council of Europe Development Bank to Ukraine. Ukraine joined the bank only 1 year ago, and in 1 year the bank managed to provide its support. And this was only possible under the leadership of Minister Liascos, his team, and most importantly, because of the trust that immediately developed between our teams. The Council of Europe Development Bank is the only multilateral development bank which has the support of social investment as the only mission. So for us, it is absolutely essential to be partner in the health sector. And being partner, from our point of view, is not only to provide financial resources, but knowledge and support. Now, we have heard the other distinguished speaker talking about the support from the health community. But from my point of view, I want also to stress the importance of delivering health services, which implies working with the communities, going at the local level. So I'm very proud that while working under the leadership of the health minister, we have also been working with the Ministry of Social Policy, just to help the delivery, and in particular this has been done with reference to the work that we plan to do in support the provision of mental health care. And this is something that I feel, particularly thankful to the First Lady to have put forward this issue, which is so important, and as a dual component of essential medical part, but also essential social part to ensure a timely delivery.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing in also the aspects of the community, the social sector, and I know that Victor as a Minister of Health, but we have here also the Minister of Social Protection. They all work really together because I think it takes whole of government effort really to respond to the challenge. And thank you also for the support. And I'm thinking we have had now, it's a third conference at the time of full-scale invasion since 24th of February 2022, in Lugano, in London, now in Berlin. And the point that you have made already, the financial resources available, is remarkable, the speed, how the response is coming. Let me go another round, because there are parallel sessions talking a lot about European Union and also what opportunities the European Union will bring to public health recovery. So, Victor, you didn't mention that explicitly on your slides, but I know that there has been a lot of discussion how health, human capital, European Union, and the public health vision comes together. Would you like to share a little bit more?
Дякую, Ярно, за запитання. Сьогодні вже на панелі ключове, що нам дасть Європейський Союз.
What is the EU going to mean for us? Horizontal ties and cooperation between different sectors, that is exactly what is going to produce the results that we need. Of course, I could share with you all the details. This is what I'm here for. But the most important directive we have to implement with Ukraine and with regard to its accession to the European Union, this is a very important approach about blood transfusions. You know, when we talk about being in war, in war times, you know, it's a different type of work, logistical preparation, blood transfusions in the battlefield very often. So we've taken major steps in that regard. We've improved our legislation and we're ready to tackle and address the implementation of the directive, to be a driving force in that regard, so as to assist other countries in learning from this particular situation how to address these crises. Pharmaceuticals is another area. Can we speak about accessibility of pharmaceuticals and drugs and medicine? Bridges and roads have been destroyed by the Russian aggression. Fuel tanks have been destroyed. How are we going to distribute the medicine and the drugs to the people who do not live in the centers of the country? A small pharmacy in the countryside. This is anything but easy. We need to find solutions for situations in crisis. And they have to be tailor-made, very often developed on the spur of the moment, but they help us to preserve what is most important, our human capital and their health. So I think that we have deserved this 100%. We are ready. We keep preparing. We are ready to begin with the negotiations, and we want to share the best that we have been able to prepare, so as to allow other countries to be better prepared for conflict situation, crisis situation. And I think someone who's experienced such a crisis can best address these issues and difficulties in cooperation with its partners. Together we can achieve good results. We're cooperating with WHO, with UNICEF, with the German health minister, with the World Bank, the Development Bank of the European Council. All of these projects have borne fruit. We do see results these days.
That you and the whole health community is very keen to move towards the European Union and the practices, and there is a lot of learning and exchange as well. Carla, I would like to ask further, what do you think, how this exchange and will help to Ukraine to prosper, and this link between health and human capital to the overall economic development? And is it one of the drivers potentially for better and a future Ukraine?
Well, I definitely believe that this is the case. The First Lady already mentioned it. We have to build back better, and this is actually what is going to happen here. I think that Ukraine will have a very modern, a very public health-oriented healthcare system, and this healthcare system ultimately may be one of the best in Europe, as a matter of fact, because the approach that you look at prevention, mental health, modern facilities, good planning, integration into the, let's say, social welfare system, all of this is also an opportunity. You do it from scratch, and you can learn from what we have made in all of Europe, including our mistakes. I also think that it is impressive that there's so much, let's say, collaboration already going on between the Ukraine and other European countries, that Ukraine will be one of the most integrated countries in Europe when it comes to healthcare. So we will clearly invest, as Chancellor Scholz put it. This is also a business case, as a matter of fact, a very good business case. And I think there will be a lively interaction between researchers, clinicians, public health experts, and also investors. So I think building back better is what we will approach here and what we will ultimately manage together.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing in the Building Back Better and also the networking. And you're right, Ukraine is very connected to Europe. There are many institutions and colleagues in Germany, but across the whole Europe and many EU countries, but then also beyond. We started to look a little bit into that, but Karin, what other countries can learn from Ukraine? Because I think the transfer that we discussed is on the both ways. It's saving lives in Ukraine, but also probably learning something new, what is also valuable for EU countries.
Thank you again for that question. And I think Ukraine's experience of the past year shows us valuable lessons. And of course, one thing that I would like to emphasize is Ukraine's ability to react to so fast changing circumstances. But I would also like to focus on the rapid adoption of digital health solutions into the healthcare system and showing the power of the transformative power of technology in healthcare. And for this, I would like again go back to the working field and tell you a little bit what we are doing. So together with the colleagues from Ukraine, together with more than 24 hospitals, we established within the last 2 years a telemedical network. Not only a national telemedical network, but also an international telemedical network. And we offered the opportunity for inter-hospital exchange, but also for international exchange. And with this, we not only strengthened the local workforce, the local capacity, we also strengthened the international workforce and all the experts that are integrated into the patient discussions. And I think this is something that countries, medical institutions, and probably governments can learn from Ukraine, establishing such cross-border international cooperations and collaborations. They can not only enhance locally, they can also enhance workforce globally and helps improve health security in a global way.
Thank you. And very important aspects, and we have been discussing about resilience of the system, how it has adapted, the new ways of working, knowledge transfer across the countries. And then, Carlo, CIB was in a year time rallying for $100 million support for euros for support for Ukraine. Let me ask a provocative question: how we can have more such partners, and what it takes to trust the health system, its innovation, its resilience, to have more similar support that we can invest more to the human capital in Ukraine?
Well, I would not regard the question as provocative at all, because in the tragedy of the war, one good element that came out is that the willingness to respond and to the situation and to support Ukraine has acted as a very powerful catalyst among international partners, all partners. Look, today we see around so many countries rallying together. And the same thing has happened among multilateral development banks. We are increasingly working together as a system, globally and especially in support of Ukraine. Many projects are co-financed. We came later than others because we had to wait for Ukraine's membership to be completed, but could rely on the support of our partner institutions to help and be helpful together to immediately be part of the problem-solving team. This certainly is going to bear also further fruits in terms of international support and international funding. Why? Because we see how well money are spent and how they are really bringing results. And these results are essential to the resilience and to the recovery in two ways that are complementary. The first one is the point that has already been made very clearly. If there is no health, all the other human capabilities cannot be deployed. So there cannot be recovery, active participation in in the productive activity with maimed health. But at the same time, there is even, if you will, a deeper sense. Healthcare is one of the key elements of social inclusion. This is what makes a society to be only, to be one society. Health, education, social housing. This is what makes a society, a cohesive and equitable one.
Thank you, and thank you really bringing those elements in as well. With this one, in the room we have many of the other partners who are also supporting Ukraine, and few of them have told me that they would like to say a few words. So I would like to first turn to the Minister of Health, Riina Sikkut from Estonia. You were in Kiev just a few weeks ago, and but you are currently Minister of Health, but you have been also Minister of Economy. So sometimes now in your new role, you need to explain to yourself about health, human capital, and recovery. So how you see these areas coming together, visiting so many times Ukraine?
Thank you. In Estonia, out of all the people who have some incapacity to work, 40% of them are incapacitated because of mental health issues, including addictions. And this is without war in Estonia. So now I'm trying to build a case that this investment in better service provision has economic benefits. But when we discuss Ukrainian situation, it's extremely difficult to imagine that fast recovery, economic growth and development can be achieved without a well-functioning healthcare system that should be able to cater the needs of war victims and the general population as well. As Victor described, the issues of early strokes, diabetes that is out of control. So the challenge is twofold. And although Victor does amazing work on government level, I think it's essential that the contacts have several layers. As Dr. Steinecke described, it's not just political commitments, but contacts, personal contacts between heads of hospitals, doctors who consult difficult cases, implement telemedicine solutions. This is where we can achieve the real effect. But the investment that is needed is tremendous. So I strongly believe that the Russian frozen assets can be put to good use by investing into the health system of Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you. And on the screens we see also number of other partners who are supporting and who are also considering to expand the support to mental health, to hospital partnerships, many of the areas that we have been discussing. But let me turn to Simona Šatūnas, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs from Lithuania. And your Minister of Health is very often coming to see Victor, discussing about health. I had a chance to meet with him just a few weeks ago, as well in the World Health Assembly. How you see from the Lithuanian side and how you have selected to support health sector in particularly?
Well, hello, thank you so much. First of all, yes, I'm coming from Lithuania, where everyone knows what does it mean Russia, what does it mean Putin, and what does it mean occupation. So for us, it's no doubt that we need to support Ukraine as much as we can until the victory, but not only in the military terms, not only economic, but in the health as well. So I think from the big policy perspective, what you are discussing here, and thank you for your vision, what you presented, what is necessary, we thought that we need to do another step, very simple step, to start doing the concrete projects. So what our government, we decided to allocate 15 million euros and to start developing with the local partners in Lviv, in Zhytomyr and Dnipro, free centers for rehabilitation of soldiers, and not only soldiers, because we believe that if you are on the front line, you need to have a trust that you will be treated well if something happens to you. So I think that we're trying to develop the model that might be scaled up. So we'll try to work with our Ukrainian partners, with the central government, with the local authorities, and these free centers for rehabilitation is going to be development of the infrastructure plus services. So I hope that it will be also our medical workers, doctors coming in to work in together. But what I'm trying to say, we kind of are learning, like you were saying as well, we are learning how to create functioning models that can help Ukrainians, but also can be scalable. So we are ready to scale these projects. And I think that maybe the partners, if they are going to be interested how we will develop these free centers, we can work further. So our approach is very simple. Let's do a tangible results there on the ground. So I very much hope that we can really scale up and very quickly.
Thank you. And thank you. And very good to hear about the very practical examples that also, as many others have said, it goes to the community level, closer to the people. And that has been discussed since the beginning, and what we discussed a lot also in Lugano, how everybody can go to the different oblasts, different hromadas, and start to support the communities. Let me turn now to Vincent Viel. We were just an hour ago in another room celebrating additional initiatives from Expert France and others. And you are bringing a lot of experience from other parts of the world. So what are the focus areas for you and your team?
Thank you so much. It was a special day for us today, but I'm going to come to that. So as Expertise France, we actually focus on strengthening the system and the resilience and the resilience of the Ukrainian people, which is very strong. And France itself has three main priorities in Ukraine, which is mental health, physical rehabilitation, and cancer. So we work in those areas. And what we do is rehabilitation of infrastructure. We also do equipment a lot, and we do mobilization of expertise into Ukraine, so in different ways, including trying to help the system into integrating European Union. And we do the partnership between Ukraine and France in terms of the hospitals. At the moment, we are the country with the largest number of hospital MOUs, and currently we have actually, as we speak, a surgeon somewhere in Ukraine actually rebuilding somebody's face that has been damaged during the war. I cannot go on for my project for hours, but I have 1 minute, so in terms of future it's going to be short. So two things I wanted to say. First one is, today in the presence of the First Lady and Minister Lyashko and yourself, we had the absolute pleasure of signing a partnership together with the NGO Superhumans. And Superhumans, thank you Olga, is going to build a new center in Odessa, where they will do prosthetics and rehabilitation, and we are very, very proud to work with you. As well as actually doing a training center where they will train their staff, but they will also train specialists from the southern regions of Ukraine. And they will increase the capacity of the system to actually cope with the numbers that are larger and larger by the day. And the second thing is that we work very closely with Minister Lyashko and his team and the WHO into the mental health center, and we've committed to build a number of mental health centers where people will have access at home and not in hospitals to mental health and psychiatric care. So those are two of the main things that we do, but I guess I'm out of time. But thank you very much, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you. And then let's listen more also for Ukraine voices. And I would like to give floor to Inna Ivanenko, who is from Patients of Ukraine. And you have been, over the last 10 years, it's bringing together more than 50 patients organizations. You are really the voice of many. But also you have been very strongly advocating for the health reforms, the accountability, transparency, access to care. So how your last 900 days have been?
Thank you, Jarno, for this introduction. Dear speakers, dear conference participants, I really represent patient-driven NGO, but we contribute at the moment to the recovery efforts of our country in two major areas. First, it's rehabilitation of healthcare facilities, primary healthcare facilities, and the second one is rehabilitation of patients. And I would like to support Minister Zaleshko's statement about crucial damages of infrastructure, and we as NGO have already rehabilitated 46 primary healthcare facilities with support of our partner Crown agents. Out of 200 which have already been rehabilitated. And we do all this work facing blackouts, facing shortage of male workers, constant air attacks. But you know, one doctor told me, once you have rehabilitated healthcare facility in your community, it brings life, because it's a hub of electricity, warmth, internet, even water, and the life comes back to this community. People come back to this community. We need to rehabilitate all over the country 400 healthcare facilities, primary healthcare facilities, and we will never do it without international support. So I encourage you to help us in this. And the second major sphere is physical rehabilitation of our patients. We coordinate our efforts together with Office of the First Lady, President Commission on Barrier-Free Environment, and with relevant ministries in order to build rehabilitation system in Ukraine in line of the whole healthcare system. And we achieved a lot of sustainable changes. But at the moment, I would like to ask partners' attention in three major areas. First, it's developing a rehabilitation pathway of the patient from acute rehabilitation to rehabilitation in communities. Helping with making standards of rehabilitation services and improving formal education of rehabilitation specialists. Thank you for all support. And one major and important thing which I would like to bring to this room, it's a message of the whole conference about the importance of air defense system, because without them we will achieve nothing, because we have already cases when once rehabilitated healthcare facility was ruined again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ina, and thank you for bringing this reality to this room and the reality that we have around us in Ukraine. I would like to turn now to Anne-Catherine Berner, and you are currently business executive, but you have been also the minister in the past. And mental health is one of the areas which is close to you, and you have created also many of the initiatives. So we are coming closer to the conference, but what are your final words?
Thank you. Our foundation is created by technology companies and private people from the Nordic countries. Our aim is to create a center of excellence for Ukraine for the rehabilitation of children that are traumatized by the war. We believe in a fully integrated system in a close cooperation with the public sector. We also believe that the Center of Excellence will be something that Ukraine can give to the Europe and to the European Union in the future. The Center of Excellence will consist of 3 different areas. We will create the virtual hospital, which will be national and fully integrated into the public healthcare system that will provide mental health care for children, tools for assessment and follow-up, and also make sure that we can look into the lives of the children and families in the long term. The second piece is to create a research center to make sure that there is evidence-based, the right treatments that are needed in a situation where the children are in an ongoing situation of stress, not in a post-traumatic stress situation. And thirdly, we're looking to build up a physical clinic. All of this we hope to have established in such a way that it will be a permanent part of the Ukrainian healthcare system, and also that we can follow up how these children will function as adults in the future. And Mr. Liashko, very much thank you for all the time and the cooperation on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have come to the closure of the session, because we know that we need to be in the reception soon. But I wanted to, one of the slides that was there just recently about all the new commitments, and I like to thank many of the partners who are already supporting Ukraine, but all who are also considering more. One of the numbers that I remember from recent the damages and needs assessment that was looking at 2 years of war was that only in 2024 we need $836 million of investment. And now that number is 3 times less than actually is needed. And this doesn't even count to the human capital that we have been discussing today, thinking about the healthcare workers, the health, and so on. So I think at the end of the discussion, I see a lot of enthusiasm on human capital. We heard from Olena Zelenska why it is important. Many of initiatives that are not only to save lives now, but to invest also to the future generations. But when I look to those numbers, I think we need to go now to dinner, talk to each other, network, and think, can we do more to support Ukraine, the human capital, the health sector, now and in the coming years? So when we come together next year in Italy, the numbers where we see the damages and needs and our support matches better. So thank you, and this is food for thought over the dinner that we should have at 7 o'clock. Thank you.